Yeah, thank you, Dofa. Sorry for the delay. I think we had a delay of 10 minutes. Convenience. Welcome to this platform of Nigerian Women Lead. I believe some of us are attending this meeting for the first time. This is Nigerian Women Lead platform where we usually have these meetings once in a month, inviting a very important personality to speak in order to make impact in our lives and give us some lessons. Today being the 28th of February, we are going to have a very important persons talk to us and giving us some insight and lessons learned from a summit they attended in United States of America. Platform for the first. You will want to know what Nigerian Women Leads does, our activities and vision and our objectives. First of all, I will want to say the vision is Nigerian Women Lead organize a national movement to advocate religious freedom, human rights, and gender equity in order to build a thriving Nigeria for global impact. And the objectives of Nigerian Women Lead goes this way. It builds leadership and trust. It takes strategic actions at the local and national level. It shares powerful community organizing tools. It identifies interfaith champions, enables significant women-led action to end violence. It also fosters religious harmony in Nigeria. We usually have our activities yearly, though the time has not been fixed yet, but we have a lot of activities we have run last year ending. Which was held at Jalingo, Taraba State, Abuja, and Kaduna State, precisely Kafanchan. We had a lot of programs with women impacting their lives, changing their mindset towards developing their self-interest to make impact in their community. And those are, to mention but few, those are the things we do in Nigerian Women Lead. And today being the 28th of February, we see it fit to invite two persons, very important personality, to speak and to give us some lessons of the summit held at the United States of America. We so much believe that they've come with a lot of packages that we will learn lessons from. So we see it's very important to invite them to come and speak to us so that we'll learn the lessons from them. And one of the persons we have invited is Felix, Mr. Felix, which Felix has been so helpful in the body of Nigeria Women Lead. He is
Ruth,
a human
excuse
advocate.
me, I think Dofa just got the slides on. Whatever you said,
okay.
Yes.
I was struggling to get the slides, sorry. So those are some of the activities we do, as you can see them on the slides. I have mentioned them, but few of them. This is a program we had at Jalingo, the interfaith movement of women, Christian and Muslim women coming together in order to build a very powerful movement in Jalingo, as you can see it on the slide. We had very interesting program there, which the Christian women invited the Muslim women during Christmas period. They had a very good feast and had a deliberation, which the deliberation was a long way in building peace. And as we can see, there's a project we had too in Jalingo, which the impact of our program we had there has been giving birth to many positive actions. This slide you see, children and women empowerment through education, which the youth and women movement had the program recently in Jalingo. They impacted the lives of those pupils by donating chairs from Nigeria Women Lead in order to give them a quality education. The schools were no chairs, no books, no nothing. And their self-interest to see that those to the school and had a one-on-one with the teachers and the mothers of the pupils, which it made a lot of impact. We are still following up to do greater things there. And as well, we have also some of our team guys that are planning a very huge project in Jalingo too, in order to impact the life of our young girls that are coming up. I think those to mention but few are the programs we do in Jalingo. We don't have so much time to explain all of those projects, which I know after this we are going to share them and you will get access to them. Thank you so much. As I've earlier mentioned, we have a very important personality that will talk to us, giving us the lessons they held in United States of America in IRF Summit. In person of Felix Samari, is a human advocate specialized in the area of religious freedom in Nigeria. He holds a Bachelor of Degree in History and Master's Nigeria and African History in view. He was trained in the freedom of religion or belief. NOFOB, a Nordic organization with office in Norway. He lives in Abuja. I think some of our team members knows Felix very well and knows how much Felix has been putting so much strength to see how Nigeria Women Lead will move forward in all our activities. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you so much for responding to our call. And as well, I want to introduce our CEO in person of Soraya M. Dean, a Muslim feminist, a lawyer, a founder of Nigerian Women Lead, a community organizer, and an award-winning international activist. You are most welcome to this platform, Soraya. We are so happy to have you here. And as well, I want to welcome you all to this wonderful platform. After all those presentations we are going to have, if you have a question, keep writing them down because we are going to give some minutes for questions. Feel free to say your thoughts and contribute to whatever you see it fit. Thank you so much. Mr. Felix, you're welcome to the platform. Thank you. A thumbs up for him on the comment section. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Ruth, and thank you everyone for joining us in this session of our meeting. Before I start, I would like to ask, how many minutes am I supposed to say something here?
Yeah, sorry, I should have told you earlier. You have 10 to 12 minutes. Sorry.
Good. All right, this is important. Okay.
Welcome, sir.
And I also want to welcome Soraya Dean. And also, first of all, want to thank her also for her hospitality while in the US. I think it was a very good experience to be at the IRF Summit. But of course, it would have been no much excitement without meeting with people like her that I have already known to talk and discuss certain things that will promote our work in Nigeria. And first of all, the IRF Summit is an annual event. This is the 5th time that the IRF Summit is being held, and we have religious human rights in the world who attend this summit. About a dozen or maybe about 2 dozen of people coming from Africa and about 10 or so from Nigeria, or less than that from Nigeria. And in the midst of discussions about religious freedom, I think Nigeria plays a very critical role, or a very important mention, because Nigeria is always mentioned when you talk about religious freedom in the world, considering the the place of Nigeria in terms of the religious demography, where there are a lot of Christians, a lot of Muslims, and also other religious minorities. And of course, a country with over 200 million people that are adherents of different religions, you should expect that issues like that will always come up. But recently, the theme of religious freedom has become very, very critical in the world, looking at the role of religion in terms of peace promotion and also development, fostering understanding among different groups. And so far in Nigeria, reports and information about situation of religious freedom in Nigeria, especially looking at the Open Doors report that says Nigeria is one of the most dangerous places to live as a Christian. And then also there is a lot of persecution of people of faith, of other faiths in the place where they find themselves as minority. And then we are also aware of the USEF report of last year, and which we are looking forward to. Maybe next week or so, the report for 2025 is going to be out. And so we are looking at the possibility of the discussion that will come as a result of the report and the position of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. I think these are issues that are all around what we are discussing. But most importantly, it's the discussion at the IRF Summit, which focus also on how the religious minorities are being marginalized and what is the role of the stakeholders. For me, I see the gathering where people are motivated, encouraged to go back home and begin to think of the best ways and best approach to how they can foster unity and promote the religious rights of the minorities. And so Nigeria has featured a lot, ranging from side events like where Barrister Kola, who happened to be the lawyer of Yahya and Sharif Yahya, and then Mubarak. He discussed about the threat to life and also unlawful incarceration of persons because of their own belief or because of presumed offense that is either blasphemy or maybe some of these things that are related to religion. And I think it is also important that we begin to educate our people and let our people know more about what is happening to people of the religious minority in Nigeria. Because most times these are issues that are here with us and many people don't know about it because it doesn't get a lot of media coverage. And a lot of Nigerians are not aware that some people are in prison because they profess or renounce certain religion or they profess a religious view that is not popular. And so how do we help them? For me, these are some of the takeaway from the meeting. How do we help these religious minorities? We are not talking about Christians or Muslims. We are not talking just Christians or Muslims. We are talking about everyone, because everyone at some point will have to face certain realities of discrimination and so on as a result of religion. And so for us to have a Nigeria where if you find yourself a minority, if you, for instance, happen to be in a Christian-dominated community and you are a Muslim, how do you perceive the treatment, and how do we help the majority, the Christians that are living there, to be able to protect the right of the minority, either Muslims or others? And if you find yourself in the Muslim-dominated communities and you are a minority as a Christian or other faiths, how do the majority Muslim, then how do you also as a minority live with them in that community? First of all, with the understanding that you have a right to your religion, and also to be able to be in the midst of the majority, promoting peace and understanding as you profess your religion. And also to a wake-up call for us back home to have a lot of work to do. And for me, I drafted a report at the end of my being at the IRF Summit. And one of the key emphasis has been that there has been a lot of narrative, repeated narrative about these people here in Nigeria. Make sure that we work hard to get data, to get quality, accurate empirical research and bring up data that we will always have with us, so that those who talk about religious freedom situation in Nigeria will have a reference point. And so we are, like we are now, can be a reference group, or that we can work, or a working group where we'll be able to get what's happening, documenting violations of freedom of religion, documenting practices, just freedom, and so on, so that we will be able to provide accurate data on some of these things. For me, I think this is very important when talking about Nigeria, or a kind of a mention that is not very, very deep. There is no in-depth data collected on the religious freedom situation in Nigeria. This, I believe, it's very critical. And then the other thing is, I take it as one of the challenges, because this is not our event. It is an event that is organized by organizations in the United States of America. And so we are just like spectators at the IRF. Basically, those who come from Nigeria, we are just like spectators looking at what is happening here, what is happening. We are not mainstream into involvement, or saying at that this particular one that I attended. I don't know for the previous ones. I think there is need for a very deliberate mainstreaming of the Africans and African actors into the activities of the IRF, where we will also participate with information and also bring our own African view, not what is being said about us. Because I saw a panel on Africa. The only person on that panel on Africa was the Chief Justice of Kenya, who happened to be on Zoom. And those who discuss Africa were discussing it from their own opinion of how they understand things and their activities in Africa, not necessarily what is happening in Africa, but what they are doing in Africa, what they are working with other organizations and achieving in Africa, which I think we should be something beyond that. And that also gives me a challenge that we back home here should find a way of organizing our own event, our local gathering, where we will bring our actors together so that we can brainstorm on issues that affect us, and then we give it a wider coverage. People will hear about it and see how these things are done. And the good news is, in June there's going to be a summit in Africa, on Africa and on the African soil. I hope there's going to be a different perspective to that, or how we will also be involved in the discussions about Africa. I think here the Nigerian Women Lead has a very good reputation, and also an entry point, and also taking leadership role in making sure that the voice of Nigerians are heard, and then the Nigerian situation also is brought to the global attention, and needed support is gotten in order to ameliorate the situation in the lives of people that are affected. So let me pause here. I don't know whether I'm still within my time, but thank you very much, Ruth. So these are some of the experiences and matters arising, what lessons Nigeria will learn, and how Nigeria can be involved in the process going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. for brief but important points in which we have to take a look and prepare to take actions towards them. And I have only one question to ask. Haven't learned all those lessons and looking into it, it has been a menace in Nigeria. In so many aspects, you find out that some certain groups or NGO that are really trying to see how to end all those problems that are raising from the community. Once they start, you will see it's either the government or another side of the religion will be kicking against it. How do you think we will come up with a solution to this? Thank you.
Well, I think, first of all, we need to do a very proactive and serious stakeholder mapping, and also involvement. Sometimes when people are not involved in the process of what you are doing, it becomes a threat to them. But when they are involved, they are aware that this is something that they are involved. That is why the top-bottom approach is also good. You carry the key stakeholders, the gatekeepers, and the state actors, you carry them along. Let them be involved in the process. Let them understand what you are doing. and so that they will not be hearing from a distance, but let them understand, let them be part of it, let them know that this is what you are doing and it's also for the good of everyone. And so that in that process, I think it will be difficult for them to kick against it. And freedom of religion work is not a kind of work that is done in isolation. It's a network thing. We cannot do it all by ourselves. We need one another. We need different stakeholders to come on board. And that is why there is need for a kind of collaboration among civil society organizations, NGOs, and different actors, non-state actors, so that we will all be on the same page to know that we complement one another and we are working towards the same goal. I think this is critical when it comes to that.
Thank you very much for this response. I don't know from the audience, do we have anyone with a particular question or something that has been bothering you concerning this religious freedom? You can invite Soraya for the second phase of the talk. Yes, the room is open. You can feel free to ask whatever question you feel is very important. Yes. So in the absence of any question, I will want to invite our CEO in person of Ms. Soraya MD to come up with some lessons to learn, and I so much believe we will have a lot to learn from you. You're most welcome, Soraya.
Thank you, dear Ruth, and thank you, Felix, for those powerful comments. I really don't know where to begin because the field is so big, the violations are so broad, the actors are so many. In fact, for my class, I'm reading for my public leadership credentials at Harvard, and I did a systems mapping. This is the case I'm studying and presenting. And if you look at, I don't know whether you can see the many stakeholders that are engaged in the situation in Nigeria and what each of us can do. And what we are trying to do with Nigeria Women Lead is how can we leverage what we have and what are those entry points through which we can leverage to address the problem that Felix so beautifully explained. Look at the actors. So many actors and so many people who can do something. Some of them are international countries are already involved, media, Nigerian women led grassroots organizations, law enforcement, the law by itself, the Fulani tribes, the judiciary, the churches, mosques, the government, persecuted people in the center. I mean, it's huge. So when we talk about religious freedom, I just want to go to the real beginning. Why are we so interested in religious freedom, and why the United States of America, you must be wondering. You have to know that we are a major player because America is really a powerful country in the world, and it has foreign policy like all policies. One of the cardinal policies they have is to promote religious freedom across the world. Because America is engaged in many activities. Some are good, some are not so good. I don't approve everything my government does. So it has a vested interest for peace building, and it has found that there is no peace when religious freedom lacks. And I'm sure you will agree with me. Imagine you got up today, you wanted to go to the church, and somebody said you can't go to the church. Or somebody comes into the church and says, this is not the way to conduct your sermon. That is a violation. Or you have to go to the mosque and the government has put a rule to say you can't go to the mosque. Or you kill somebody who goes to the mosque. I mean, it's so complex. So what the International Religious Freedom Act was written in the United States in 1998. And it was to promote religious freedom as a foreign policy of the United States. So in order to promote greater religious freedom in countries which engage in or tolerate violations of religious freedom, and to advocate on behalf of individuals persecuted for their religious beliefs and activities in foreign countries. So what we are interested is in individuals. We are not interested in the religion. No law protects the religion. Every religion can be questioned and debated and scrutinized. So what some of the people have gone is, you're attacking my religion. What we say in the West, particularly with where freedom of speech is enshrined and practiced. I know Nigeria has freedom of speech enshrined in your constitution. The degree of practice is what is not happening. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 18, the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, Article 18, all believe that there is freedom of religion of those, all forms of intolerance and discrimination based on religion or belief. This is very important. Not only religion or belief. So what the America does is that this particular law to monitor religious freedom in countries was enacted in 1998, and it was signed by President Bill Clinton, October 27th. So we have three entities that monitor religious freedom in Nigeria and all other parts of the world. There's an ambassador at large for international religious freedom. He works within the Department of State. He's the highest ranking diplomat on international religious freedom. Then we have the USERF, which is a bipartisan. It is not Republican or Democrat. It's bipartisan. Members from both parties come together. It's called USERF, United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. It is designed to provide independent policy recommendations and fact-finding. Independent. So we, NGOs, we work with USERF. We work and we report to them, and they recommend policies. So this is very important, because every Tuesday we have the Religious Freedom Roundtable, and we have about 100 activists from all over the world. They come and tell us what is happening. So we have a good overview of the religious freedom conditions in those particular countries, not only Nigeria, all, but we are talking about Nigeria. So last year, Felix referred to the report of this USERF, United States Commission. What they said was alarming about Nigeria. It said, religious freedom conditions in Nigeria remain poor, with both state and societally perpetrated violations. So it's not only the state is doing it, society is doing it. This is a serious allegation. If you are a Nigerian, you should be crying. Why is my country being told this? Where did I not get engaged? What can I do? Those are the questions you need to ask, that you need to make a choice, commit, and change. Choice, commit, change. That is really very important. So it goes further to say the federal government of Nigeria continues to persecute the leadership of the Shia minority Muslims. I know you are a large Sunni majority, but there are a few Shias. And that's Shia Sunni is another conversation we can have. And as a Muslim, I know the difference. And I know for 1400 years how we have been killing each other because of this difference. Additionally, it says, this is the most important part. Additionally, there are widespread instances of intercommunal and militia violence, rampant kidnapping, and general criminality that also prevent religious freedom. So this is where we come in. We are trying to understand what is this general criminality that is preventing and trying to address. So at Nigeria Women, we feel we don't need to talk religion. We can come together and do some community service together that builds our friendship. So that when somebody in our community is kidnapped or killed or imprisoned, we women will come together and say, that is our child. That is the child of so and so. The community can resuscitate this boy. It doesn't have to go that far, because who is in the prison is a question we want to, it could be a father, it could be a brother, it could be somebody who has a child. So why are we just letting the community, the system break down with punitive laws that violate the Nigerian constitution? That is alarming. So in this particular setting is where we come in to promote solidarity, because what we believe is that when we achieve a certain critical mass, okay, now let's say in your house you have 10 people in your house, you want to cook steak, but seven are saying no, we want fish. But if when 7 people or 5 or more say no, we also want steak, that is when the critical mass is built. Critical mass. We go to schools and we try to engage mothers and women, not to give charity and some books. That might be a stepping stone. Our fellow Khadija, she has taken a lead role in engaging 25 women, and now we have told those 25 women to bring another 25 women. And it's a snowflakes model that we are practicing. So it's not about charity, it's about getting to the root of what my community needs and how can I make a difference. So that's the gist of what is happening from America. And if you don't tell your story, America is going to tell that story for you. So that is why it's important that you begin to tell your story accurately and give a fresh light. Because what we make a mistake in the United States is we have a linear approach. There's the government, there's diplomacy, and there's the government. Let's hold them accountable. We don't factor sufficiently the other actors, and that's why we will continue to do that unless you raise your Nigeria and say, hey, listen, this is changing and it is changing this way. So the goal of all of us is beyond what we are, what organization we stand for. I was very impressed when I was in conversation with Felix. He said, Soraya, the field is so vast. There's room for every one of us to do something. And in that spirit, I leave you to really ask yourself, what can I do? Not what the state can do. What can I do? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Soraya. Wonderful comments. Of course, I can see your heart is just in Nigeria. It's just your body that is there. But I don't know. You are so passionate about Nigeria. I want to appreciate you for making Nigeria for you, and I want to say thank you for the comments, and I will want to leave it to the platform now. Please, this is an interactive session, not just the presenter will talk and we'll just go. Please, if you have a question or comment, you're free to say it, and let's see how we can go back to them for more clarification on that, please. Yes, for the room, anyone with question or comments, you're free to do so, please.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm not raising my hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, this
Go
is
ahead.
Elizabeth Abdile. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the invite. And thank you to our speakers for the wonderful insights as always. Thanks to Soraya. I mean, she inspires me anytime she speaks, especially speaking on behalf of Nigerians. I mean, she could decide not to do that if she doesn't want to. So thank you so much for sticking out with us always. This is a very important platform, if you agree with me, which I'm sure you all do. How do we make it more popular? Virtual space is big. She's in the United States, I'm in Abuja, maybe you are in another state, So how can we make it more popular because it can also help us reach a whole lot of women and men who need to hear the FOB message. It's new to a lot of people. So I think we should work together. I'm ready to do that as well. This is my own little way to invite people to join whenever you have meetings. But I'm thinking we need to promote this group a whole lot so that people can come together and learn what you're doing and learn more about FOB and other issues that would help us have a better society. So mine is not so much of a question, but just to commend you for doing this and to say that there's a lot we can do with this space. Thank you so much. And thanks, Mr. Felix, for the update on RF. It's always nice to have you around. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for those encouraging words. I know your heart is also in it. So when 2 or 3 more people come with heart, God will be there, they say, right?
Yes.
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 So that drives us, that moves us, and then able bodies. Ruth is managing everything that happens in Nigeria, coordinating. In fact, we want to call yesterday. They're planning a huge conference of women legislators in Adamawa State. And Ruth and I said, we need 500 women to train on leadership. So if we all collaborate, I think we can mark major, small victories will become bigger victories. When Mother Teresa was asked, how does she do? Can get overwhelmed. We want to change all, share power, share knowledge, share resources, and move forward. You will be with us, so Ruth will, I'm sure Ruth knows your contact and you have been meeting, will collaborate moving forward.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Elizabeth, for these wonderful comments. I'm so glad to hear your voice here. In fact, I've been checking on. Thank you so much for responding to our invitation. And Soraya, that Abuja recently. I believe Elizabeth will contribute a lot to this movement and will collaborate to see how we can move this great platform to the higher.
I met her.
Basis. So yeah. So I also want to the platform, to the people here on the platform. I will also want to say God has a purpose of making it in our hearts to invite you here. It could be that you will be a source of help to your community and what is happening there. It's not about coming to the meeting and just hear what is happening and just go. We are here to learn how to go about all those challenges we are having in our community. Of course, you will be a source of help. So don't hesitate to invite any other person when next we invite you to the meeting. That's how we are going to take this movement to the greater height. I believe where someday we'll find ourselves where we don't even expect because of the collaboration. Please don't just go and keep quiet. When next we come, we'll want to ask, what did you do and what did you learn? Because of time factor, we will not be able to do so here. But when next we come, we're going to at least say how we felt and what impact did this meeting made in your life. And I think that will help us to do better and more. And in case you've seen any challenges in the way we've organized the meeting, you can boldly confront me and say it so we can amend it next time. So I don't know. Is that all? No one with any comment or question or something?
Evening.
Yeah.
I'm
welcome.
so delighted to yourself on this great platform. I love the way you people are cooperating in trying to bring freedom of religion, not just in Nigeria, in the world entirely. Seriously, it's something worth doing because currently in Nigeria, precisely in that don't religious crisis talks like have been happening time without number. So in this idea would innovate a lot of people to sort out means in order to eradicate such kind of what happenings or crisis in Nigeria and in the world. Like, so I give you kudos to this great group. And seriously, today I learned so many things. I wanted keeping quiet, but it's nice for me to say something. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf, for this comment. I so much believe when next we invite you for this meeting monthly, you can be able to say one or two things you've learned and you've done in your community. It's not just coming to the meeting. You've learned and you let others learn through you. Thank you so much for the comment. And who else has a comment, question?
Okay, good evening.
Evening.
Okay, I'm John. Thank you so much, Mr. Felix, for this wonderful and wealth of insight from the engagement you had. Even though I came late, I apologize, but I think I've got some part of what was the take home from there. And majorly what I took was from there was that there was not much engagement of stakeholders from Nigeria and other African countries because perspective and also information were gathered mostly from people who are working here, but not particularly from the persons who are experiencing what is happening. And which means that we have to be the ones telling our stories and also advocating for what we feel is not really going on well in our society, especially as regards freedom of religion. And one thing basically, which has been a misconception in our area, or let me say basically in the north, about people that advocate for freedom of religion and beliefs is that it's always seen as if it's a religion is being targeted. But actually that is not the case. It is the case whereby people are right. Who are being people our religion is not doing what is right and then they should be stopped. So the first is that we go about to debunk this mentality and this phobia that people have when anything has to do with freedom advocacy or belief advocacy. How can we go back to our society, our brothers, our sisters, and then our neighbors to really clear the air, to let them know that anytime when we're talking about freedom of religious belief, we're not trying to say that we are bringing anything that is against them, but this is what is going to protect individuals and protect the society. My last question is, I have been involved in interfaith peace and freedom of religious belief for a while, just a few for a few while, and then one thing I come to discover is that it's time demanding because it's a community organizing activity. What I'm trying to say is that it's a kind of grassroots movement. Because if it were policy alone, I think the constitution will have done it, and then the law enforcement agency could have done it. But I think it has really failed us in our country because the implementation is very low. But I think what can happen is when we start it from down up, where the main actors or the main stockholders or those that are living together can be well oriented and have the right understanding of what peaceful coexistence means and how to respect each other's religion regardless of their differences. I think that is what's going to help us a lot. But I've come to discover that working to mobilize people individually at the grassroots is not easy because it's time consuming and also it has to do with meeting people with the right mindset or what I call the right self-interest. How can you balance this task of community organizing at the grassroots level and other activities that you as an individual is doing to earn a living? because seeing that, because how can you manage the two? Because I'm just trying to see that city is a full-time job, but is it possible for us to manage it? Because what I'm trying to say in essence as a wrap up is that I'm trying to say that the more time you give into this, the more impact, and then the faster we are going to see the result. And the less time you commit yourself to this, and then the longer it lags behind, and then the lesser impact you see in the society. Thank you so much.
I will take that only part of that question. I'm sure Felix and everybody else will respond what needs to be done. First, John, you are a voice that is so powerful. When I was your age, I didn't even know what religious freedom is. So even without you knowing, I think you are doing the work. So, I mean, we are so proud of you. And Nigeria Women Lead has a very robust youth group. And I'm sure Ruth will attest to this. Without them, with them, we have gone great strides. And you all are such an asset to us. And how do you find the time? That's a challenge all of us have. And there are some time management skills and organizational skills that must commit to on a daily basis. What works for one might not work for all. For me, I write a list of what I need to do the next day, and then I attack it. I mean, I really use the word attack because it's a lot of attacking, Tick it off, try to get organized, then prioritize what is important, and then delegate. That is why the model we are promoting is unique. We don't believe in one leader. We believe everybody is a leader. And you are not a leader until you have created 10 other leaders. So that's the model. So somebody who can take from you, take on from you. And what needs to be done in your community, I'm sure there will be others who can be really very specific, because there's so much gifts, talents, and abilities in Nigeria. I've seen it, and that's why I have so much hope for the work we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you for responding, Soraya. I saw Felix raising hand. Yes, Mr. Felix.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. And I also want to respond on other issues raised and observations and comments. I think we are gradually building our own team. As mentioned by Soraya already, there is a network in different places that are working on religious freedom. And their entry points are different. But since I started this work last year here, I've met new people, and then we have new team members, people like Elizabeth, Ruth, and several others. Just this afternoon, we had a meeting with Kyle and Ishaya. And this afternoon again, I also had a call with Gloria, Dr. Poldo. And this has been a kind of engagement that is ongoing. I think the work is much, but we have to leverage our network and also agree that other people are able to do things from their own end, and then we support them the way we can support or identify and promote what they are doing. There are other organizations. Within this week, we also had a meeting with another organization that I never knew about, that was formed by JNI and Jamaatul Nasr Islam, JNI, and then Christian Council of Nigeria. I didn't know about this organization. It has been in existence for quite some years, office truly. Now, the issue of time is, honestly, it is time consuming. And of course, we have to keep the soul and body together. But John, I believe with time, we will have more and more reason to see that people are engaged in this work and giving it more time that is required. And so why I raised my hand from the beginning was that For all of us that are here today, we will have things that we will see regarding religious freedom in our own society or immediate environment. I think it is an opportunity that we share this so that we could find a solution of some of these things together, because we don't have to compile everything to bring it together before we start working on it. If there's any need anywhere, we can jump to it and then begin to see how we can provide solution to some of these needs. And I want to reiterate finally the issue of the fact that freedom of religion or belief does not protect any religion. It protects human beings because it is a human right. And we are human rights advocates. We are not promoting or reducing one's belief or promoting another belief. We are promoting the right of human beings to believe, the right to profess his belief, the right to practice their own belief, either alone or in group. And we will do everything possible together to support one another. I think our joy should be that everyone who practices a religion, who belongs to a religion, practices his own religion, because freedom of religion or belief protects human being, doesn't protect any religion. And that is what we stand for in advocating for religious freedom. So this is what we also want to encourage the young people to know. And I like what Soraya said. When I was your age, John, I didn't know anything about FOB, honestly. I was raised a son of a pastor, in a Christian home, and sometimes even our religious leaders don't know about FOB because they don't know how to address the fact that other people have the right to be different. So I think we have a huge work to do, and then especially working with young people to make them realize that there is this human right that is called freedom of religion or belief. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Felix, for these wonderful comments. Thank you for clarification on this. I don't know, do we still have anyone with comments, question, or any inputs? Though the time is not on our side, but can we still have one or two persons say something or comments? All the comments, the questions, the presentations, all the insight are very rich. It's a take home, honestly. And I want to urge all of us that are present here today. We've had a lot and it's so educative. So when we go back to our community, one or two things, it's not a one-man job. It affects all of us. This is why we need to join our hands to work together, just as Mr. Felix earlier, one another in doing this, so as to achieve our aim. You'll find out that someone will come to the platform. What he wants to hear is more especially when they heard that this is an NGO. The mindset they give to that thing is something else. But it's a work of sacrifice. That is it. If you don't sacrifice time and everything, it's not going to work. So I urge us all, it is your self-interest, based on a self-interest. And we work based on context. Something that will work in my own context will not work in yours. So we do things based on context. We are in Nigeria. We all know that what will work in another state, of course, in other state will not work. So as we continue to have those lessons, it will give us a guide on how to go about those movements. Thank you so much, our presenters. Thank you so much, all the who participated in this meeting. We really appreciate your coming. I don't know, Soraya, do you have any other comments? The time is running faster.
Beautiful program. Thank you for moderating it so well. And thank you to our team, Jofa, John, Khadija, Godwin, everybody. I hope I not missed any names. Thank you for everybody for putting this together. And join us for our next meeting next month. We'll announce the speaker. Happy Ramadan to all of you who are fasting. Begins tomorrow in the US. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Felix, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Soraya, and thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. See you next. We'll share the next dates and resource persons.